How did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you. All of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping for French.
Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is a listening learner. So he checks with Babbel's speech recognition to be
Precio.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
What's your starting point? Wanting to outrun your dog, even if it's a short-legged bug? Wanting to carry in all the groceries in one trip? Maybe it's the taste of independence from being able to open your own jar. Or is it right now, after learning that you can join Fit for Less for only $7.99 every 2 weeks? Experience fitness simplified and join today at fitforless.ca. Some conditions apply. Fit for Less. Everybody happy.
How was your flu shot appointment?
24% greater than I thought it would be.
What?
My doctor gave me Fluzone High Dose, a flu shot specifically formulated for people aged 65 and over. It has 24% greater efficacy in preventing influenza cases compared to the standard dose Fluzone vaccine, and is publicly funded in Ontario for people aged 65 and older.
Guess I better talk to my doctor.
Vaccines don't provide 100% protection. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist to see if Fluzone High Dose is right for you. Visit fluzone.ca.
From breaking news to telling the whole story, News Talk 1010 Toronto is where everyone comes to talk about it, hear about the people affected, and the people affecting change. If it matters, you'll hear it on News Talk 1010 Toronto. Welcome back to the Vashi Cabello Show on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
No, absolutely not. I had her as my special envoy after she left cabinet for the Ukraine reconstruction. Judgment became judgment that she could be more useful for that process as she was leaving, as she was retiring as a parliamentarian, as a direct advisor. My judgment was that taking that role would be consistent with resigning as an MP, and I welcomed her doing that. And look, we'll have a by-election. There'll be a few by-elections coming up, and we'll run great candidates, and the people in those ridings will decide who they want to send apart.
Prime Minister Mark Carney this morning, in response to questions about former Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, a whole kind of slew of things happened yesterday morning, starting pretty early in the morning with a post from Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky announcing that she had agreed to take a position as an economic advisor to him and the government of Ukraine. There was a lot of reaction from opposition benches, both the Conservatives and the NDP, after that announcement was made, saying, well, why are you still going to be the Prime Minister's special representative on the reconstruction of Ukraine? But most especially, why do you remain as a member of Parliament? And it took about, I think, I would say like 7-8 hours for Chrystia Freeland to then post a statement saying she would resign as the Prime Minister's special representative, and in the coming week, she would step aside as an MP. She first announced she would quit as an MP back in September when she took the job. She was leaving cabinet and took that job with the Prime Minister. We tried many times to ask her office in the interim, like in the past few months, when will that actually happen? And we could not rather get anything on the record. There are still calls from opposition benches to see her resign immediately versus, in the quote unquote coming weeks, as her statement alluded to. We're here with the Daily Debrief panel to talk a little bit more about that. Larissa Waller, Sharon Carr, and Graham Richardson. Larissa, I'll start with you on this. I know, just from following your social media posts that you are, a big advocate for helping Ukraine and for sort of defending the interests of Ukraine. But my guess is, this isn't exactly how you pictured it going down.
No, and if you follow my social media, you know that I'm wildly opinionated on this piece. Because what Chrystia Freeland did actually is net hurtful to Ukraine. And it's net hurtful to her constituents in University Rosedale. So it defies logic to me. And the clip that you played with Mark Carney, it could have been a drinking game how many times he said judgment, because she had none, right? Like, what on earth was she thinking? So here's how it's net hurtful to Ukraine. In Canada, on the extreme right and the extreme left, there are massive swaths of people who keep making this argument that it's not in Canada's interest to help Ukraine win in this war against Russia, and that Russia is not our problem. Because they are forgetting that there's a whole part of Canada called the Arctic that Russia has said we're going to go after that with China. They said it on February 4th, 2022, most recently, in this thing called the New Era Statement. Everybody should Google it. But these activists are like using this Chrystia Freeland news to say, see, it's all corruption. See, we're giving money to Ukraine because Chrystia Freeland got a job, right? All these insiders, and then the people on the left are saying, see, the West really does run Ukraine, and that's why we have to support Russia. And she knows all this. She is one of the world experts on the former USSR and on Eastern Europe. And so it defies logic to me why she did this. To the people of University of Rosedale, she's telling every other MP in the House that this is a part-time job, and I can have 2 other jobs in 2 other countries and do it the same as you are. And it is so disrespectful to everybody. And you can't have loyalties to other countries, period.
Yeah.
Sorry, I could go on and on and on.
That's okay. No, I put a lot of those questions to the person who was speaking on background on her behalf yesterday, Sharon, including why not resign just now? They were insisting that the position is unpaid, that it's not full time. She, the announcement yesterday was just a continuation of an announcement she originally made in September. I don't think I can't even find liberals, her colleagues who are defending that at this point in time. Why do you think, what do you think is actually behind this? Is it like a math thing? Is it, an interest thing for the liberals? They don't want another by-election? I'm very confused. What's your best guess?
Oh boy, okay, so I'm going to step out of line of whatever talking points exist out there on this one, because I don't like to follow those. I love you so much. And I say this because I care about the cause as a whole. I think what Chrystia Freeland is doing is extremely hurtful to the Prime Minister, to the government, and quite frankly to just the integrity of the news cycle and all of our sanities. You cannot be half pregnant. And I say that because she announced not too long ago that she was going to take this role on at Rhodes in the UK in the summer next year, which was a weird comm strategy because you kind of announce stuff when you're going to leave. You can't basically sit in a role and then say you're going to go somewhere else, because to a certain extent you're not really representing your constituents. I understand from just what I'm hearing around the Hill is that the announcement wasn't supposed to come out when it did come out, and hence, which is probably why it took long to get a statement out of her yesterday. But what it's done now, it has created a problem for Carney and the government, because it's left an open door for people to criticize them and say, who is your loyalty to? We know she is a staunch supporter of Ukraine, and I think that is wonderful and great. But it also brings to the question of, where does your loyalty lie? If
going to do this, whether it's paid or not, it doesn't matter. You cannot serve two governments at the same time. And I don't think it is appropriate for her to wait until next summer. I know she has said coming weeks. It's not good enough. You have to resign immediately if you are going to take on a role like this. We've known she was going to be out the door. It is noise that they don't need, and now we see all the powers that be trying to justify this exit, and I just think it's sloppy, it's bad comms, and I think she probably might have been rogue on how this was handled and did the comms herself, which is just an indicator of, I think it's time to go. The question that Kearney was responding to, Graham, was explicitly like, did you ask her not to resign so that you could hold that seat for votes, etc. In a obviously, as we know, very thin minority in Parliament, almost a majority, but not. That's what he said. Don't.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, he politely said she had to go, but she can't do both. Look, I don't know Miss Freeland. I know people who know Miss Freeland. I've covered her peripherally, but I'm just gonna, in the spirit of no talking points, I think I'm gonna cut to the chase. Like, as a former television anchor, I think I have an idea about egos. Okay, myself included, and I just think an MP was just not enough for her from where she was before, and the credit she took for basically toppling the Prime Minister. And I think it wasn't enough, and I think she cares about this. She's legitimately, this is in her lane, and she's like, I can do both, I should do both, because I don't want to just be an MP from downtown Toronto. And it's not good enough because of the other things I've done. And she's not incorrect, but her political intent is horrible. And it looks really bad, and it looks like she's kind of thumbing her nose at the voters. And yeah, she's caused problems for government now on a 48-hour news cycle or whatever. And it looks kind of ambitious. And Canadians, no matter how high you are, okay, just settle down there. You know, if you want to fly around the world and be with Zelensky and everything, do that on your own, but you still got a job to do here. I think that's generally where most Canadians are. They respect her, but you can't do both. I think that's the common sense answer. You can't do both. And she thought she could. And that, whether it's paid or not, doesn't, it shows, I think it shows a lack of judgment, and I'm just guessing that there might have been some.
Yeah, it's an interesting kind of conclusion to such, like a significant political character in the last decade, Marissa, right? Like it's in so many ways good and bad. Like she had main character energy for so long.
Yeah, and you know, she didn't have Minister of Transportation energy. She didn't have,
right,
you know, made up job to help Ukraine.